So, Luca Nation, I personally am very excited for this episode because we kind of have the man, the myth, the legend, Mojo Autographs, Mojo Sports. You guys know him for sure. What I'm excited about is this is a guy that you've seen around. You might not know exactly kind of what he does, but what I've seen is you always have a smile on your face, no matter where you go. You're always positive vibes. You're always bringing good energy, and whether that's your YouTube videos, whether you're at a show, whether it's you with Boogie Cousins, and I think he's giving you his headband. You're always. It looks like you're having the time of your life, and I do believe that kind of stuff is infectious. So we've only met for like a brief second, thanks to Jacob Salter at the Culture Collision. So I'm excited to get to know you a little bit better here. So Mojo Sports, welcome to the show.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me, bro.
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
The first question we had from our audience is Mojo your first or your last name?
It's my mom named me Mojo when I came out of the womb. No, and I've just been telling everybody my name's Jay. No, it's No, it's not. It's not my last name at all or my first name. Do you want to know where it came from or no?
Hell yeah. Listen, I just let Andrew say, let's get your origin story.
Okay.
Every episode. Sure. It's like Marvel. It's like Stan Lee, but like a dumb version of Stan Lee. And my co-host is like, we want to hear about your origin story.
You know what you do? All my good qualities, you somehow marketing them or position them as like one of the worst things in the world that I do.
It's a great quality.
You're giving me the 52 card deck right now of Andrew.
That's it. You got it. It's it. The whole deck. Let's get. So do we want to know?
I'm now self-conscious about my interview style.
Dude, the interview was great, but he stepped on it. Like normally you get to lay it out there. It's like the sky parts, Moses parts the sea, and boom, the origin story question
and I'm just
dropped on our guest.
Just like throwing the basket.
And he goes, do you want to know where it starts? And Andrew, that's it. Andrew doesn't have anything else to contribute for the next hour because he can't ask you about your origin story because you decided you just wanted to offer it up. So yes, let's hear it. Do you wear a cape and boots? What is the origin story?
The birth of Mojo. Okay, so long story short, man, I've been in the hobby for like 10 plus years. And like the truth is like when you'd pull, and this is my example, if you pulled like a banger card, like this Kobe auto or something, you would scream out Mojo or you got your mojo going because you were hitting good stuff. And I was in high school and that's kind of where it started. And that's the origins. Mojo meant the best, right? And
Austin Powers, right? It's from Austin Powers. No?
You could say that. Yeah, I mean, let's run with that. Sure.
The last pack Mojo.
I think when you get your mojo going, and when I went to high school, I went to Jesuit high school, they would do this thing called you got your mojo going, and they do this like little cheer when you're playing football, basketball, all this stuff. So it's just that's the origin, and it's stuck. It's a name that's stuck. Nobody calls me. A lot of people in the community don't even know my first name. They just call me Mojo or Moj.
Mojo. So Andrew, it did not start where you think it did. All right. Mojo is It's a version of a Creole word from the 20s. It's sort of like to mean magic. That's where it comes from.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm. I looked it up. That was part of my research before Mojo coming out.
Oh, look at that research! I didn't even know that, so I'm learning.
So you're getting derivative of Moco, M-O-C-O, Moco from magic Creole in the 20s. There you go.
You get thousands of views on your videos. I mean, you just posted a video yesterday on YouTube. If you guys aren't checking it out, please go check it out. Mojo Sports on YouTube. 20,000 views. But I know it wasn't always like this, right? No entrepreneur, like now you're smiling, you're getting paid to go to card shops. Insane. To go video at card shop. But I know it's not always like this. So where did you start? Were you, kind of following people and getting Boogie Cousins autograph?
What's your origin story?
If we could dig into the origin a little bit more, I'm curious.
Yeah, man. I mean, dude,
Julie's watching and she's like, yo, I married a dick.
No, actually, what you said was, I married someone who works with a dick, who only has one question. But let's get the answer to it.
It's so funny because when I was doing breaks, I was asking people, "Hey, does your wife or girlfriend support you doing the hobby?" And a lot of them, this is a side note, but it's just funny. A lot of them were like, "No, yes, no," and then the guy's like, my wife doesn't like it, my girlfriend loves it. I was just thinking to myself, like, dude, how many like sibling or how many like spouses support the hobby? Like, do your spouses like, hey, does your wife like, what does she think of this?
She found out from me that they have a lot more money in assets than previously disclosed.
She's happy I have somebody else to talk to about it.
That's cool.
You know what I mean? She don't want to hear about it. So if nothing else, it's
that's not true. She gives you feedback on the podcast and how we're doing and what we should like.
It's true. It's very true.
She likes the business side. I behind every strong man is a stronger woman.
So Mojo, let's get back to Sacramento in 2011. Right? Let's go to teammates. Let's put little Mojo in teammates in 2011 in Sacramento. Square, boom. Start there.
What do you do?
That's his
origin story. This is perfect.
Story.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah, so I used to go to teammates. I used to get autographs. I always loved cards, man. Cards were – but the thing is, in 2011, 12, 13, from my whole high school, it wasn't cool to collect cards, man. I was getting called names. I was telling people I'm picking up a LeBron auto. They're going to play the Thunder tonight, and I'm going to get it for $200, and I'm going to sell it for $500. And my friends from high school were like, dude, that's lame. Like, it's so weird. Like, you shouldn't be collecting cards, blah, blah. And I was just stuck with it. Long story short, I stuck with the memorabilia. I was slinging memorabilia. I created a Facebook group, one of the first Facebook groups ever for sports memorabilia and cards. It's called Autographs 101. We hit 20,000 members in 2015. And I was in college during that time. Basically, I kind of moved on from that. I said, you know what, I'm going to finish up college, try to do something with marketing and, see what I want to do. Left the autograph group, gave it to let the guy that originally was with me, let him take it over. Took some time and still collected. And then COVID happened. Like, we'll fast forward really quick. COVID happens. I decide I'm going to lease an office. A guy named the P. Ryan Collection. I had been talking to him a little bit, and he was kind of telling me how he began. He said, hey, I used to get an office. I would store my cards there. It was a good place for me to get my mindset right. He said, maybe it'll work for you. I'm 26 years old. Don't got shit to show. I got an office in 2020, in September of 2020. In the office, I drew out a little logo that became this. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna do something with this. I don't know what it's gonna be. Fuck it. Let's just do it one day at a time. That's how I live. And now we're here. I broke up with my girlfriend in December of 2020. I booked a flight to Dallas in January, and that was the big Dallas show that I filmed. I put that video up. It hit 20,000 views in one night, and I went to the camera store, dropped $3,000 on the Sony A7C, and I had $2,000 left in my checking, and now we're here.
So for the people out there
gotta give some love,
who don't know, right? What is here? Right? You got a camera, you videotape stuff.
So here is like my camera is like my bread and butter, man. I think documenting the hobby is the most important thing. They didn't document anything in the 90s, and I've essentially documented hundreds and hundreds of hours of the biggest hobby spike we've ever seen. I mean, there's footage in a Google Drive that hasn't even been released. That, I mean, one day we could throw on, Netflix, or, someone else could be interested in buying it. I think the whole point is I'm a storyteller. I'm a content creator. I think when I go to shows, I'm interested in what people are, doing at shows, and they're sharing in the hobby that I love. And I think that's super cool to document that. And that was kind of what led to our success, right? Our growth. I wanted to grow this brand to be a multimedia marketing, a place where you could buy and sell cards, a place where you could come to me and share your collection with me, and we can show the world what you have. And I think it's been awesome, man. And I think the most important thing that I've been able to, tap into is the kids, right? I get to find the Mojos that you're talking about, the Mojos that were in 2011 at Teammates. I get to find these kids that, it gets me emotional, but it's like, dude, these kids are Mojo when I was a kid, man. And I see them, they're at the shows and they're lost, and they, you don't really know what's going on there. And I go and give them a pack of cards, or I say like, hey, what's your name? Like, what do you collect? And I mean, dude, that's, if I don't make any money, if we don't hit any subscriber counts, I don't care, man. I got to do that, and that's important to me.
So what's interesting here, I think, and actually it's a question for you, Cage, like, we have new blood, old blood, right? And I think that's what makes our show work in a lot of ways. You've been doing this for 4 decades. I've been doing this for a few years outside of, collecting as a kid. What do you think of all of the, I don't want to use content creator, documentation of the hobby, the good things, the bad things, the experiences, because kids, when you were coming up, you didn't have that, right? And now people not only are doing that for fun, and it's a blast, it's a passion project, you got to help kids, you have an audience, Mojo, but you also, it's actually a business model. So before we go with you, I'm curious what Cage thinks, because you've seen cycles of this, right? Are you for it? Are you against it? You think it's bad for the hobby, good for the hobby?
I'm nervous about it if people are making their living with it. And I didn't know Mojo's origin story before, maybe 15 minutes before this episode, where I did a little research on it. What makes me nervous about it is, sports cars are hot. I mean, think about the timeline that we have here, right? I mean, Mojo came, he was doing his group, he did all that other fun stuff, but left it. And then COVID happened, and he decided he was going to, basically spend 60% of his net worth on a camera because, the Dallas show was hot. The reason why the Dallas show was hot and 20,000 people watched the video, or why people are, interested in what Mojo is putting out there, the same with us, is because this hobby had a boom like it's never had before. And yes, the hobby has cycles, it has ups and it has downs. But to say that, that there was ever a time like there was, in the last couple of years, with this many people coming in, you name it, it just hasn't happened. And with that, the difference now was the boom of content, the boom of businesses that came out of it. I think a lot of people are going to stretch themselves a little thin. I think a lot of people are going to try to expand when the market is contracting. While Mojo has a great story, Jay has a great story, there are a lot of other stories out there. We get questions all the time from people who have made a name for themselves, made some money for themselves. Should I go and expand and buy a brick and mortar and make a shop out of it? And for the most part, I tell them, do not do that. But there will be people who survive. It's like what we hear about NFTs, right? 99% of them will be gone, but it will stand. The people who do this right, the people who don't overextend, the people who are liked, they'll be fine. I guess I worry about the business model of people, I'm going to just put it all in, put a camera out there, because that works. You get 20,000 people watching because there are 20,000 people who want to watch and want to learn how to hustle and how to make money in the hobby and autographs and cards, you name it. And what I'm seeing, long answer, is there is even an undertale of, those people who were in the hobby in the last 18 months, the people who make up your 20,000 viewers, the people who want to watch your show. Those are the people who shouldn't be in the hobby anymore. Those are not collectors. Those are not.
This isn't your words, right? When you say
no, these aren't
undertale.
mine. I'm just saying this is what happens here. Like what I'm saying is, there is a narrative out there that, hey, those people are not really good for the hobby. They've caused the card values to blow up. It also caused a lot of interest. It caused a lot of content to be created. It caused a lot of people to watch that content. And I guess when you talk about, hey, what do I think about this? I think it's great. And I would love it if next year 10 times as many people were doing it also, and that we were all pushing it. The cards can't go up 100x, but maybe we'll push that content to something else, and we keep these people in and keep them engaged with that content. But why I say I'm worried is I think what we're doing now is we're seeing more of those people who were coming in, making easy money, now losing money. They're not enamored by the card show flip, because the card show flip is not as easy to do anymore. You can't just go and buy something for $5 and turn it into 20 in a week, or buy something for $100, grade it, get it back quick. And it's there, it's just not as easy. And I guess I worry about the business model that was created by content creators who came in the last 18 months, who built on the back of those people, and those people might be leaving one way or another. Does that answer your question?
I have my thoughts on that. Any thoughts on that, Mojo? I mean, you just met with Rob from Burbank Sports, so we were just talking about opening an LCS, something Cage touched on. Any thoughts on that at all? I have my thoughts, but
yeah, I mean, okay, so you want to know my favorite thing about my YouTube channel? I don't have to tell anybody what to buy, how to buy it, or how to collect sports cards. Okay, yeah. So that's number one. I'm not telling you to join my investment program, or hey, I'm not going to tell you how to collect cardboard. If you listen, let's slow down, boys. Walk through the door into this hobby. Ask yourself the question, why are you here?
Yep.
Are you here because you have the hobby? Do you have the teammates mojo in you? Do you have that side to you? Because if you don't, it's going to cause, like you said, people are going to exit the hobby, right? So that's what you got to ask yourself. At the end of the day, I know that when I go to card shows, there's somebody in North Dakota that's not going to be able to come to that show. Nobody can travel. They can't always go. What I'm giving these people in my content is they're getting an experience. It's not just me walking up, hey, I'm going to triple X my money. I don't even have to, I wouldn't even have to do a deal in these videos if I don't want to, but I love sports cards. I love dealing. I love, going up and leveling up. That's a fun thing to do for all of us. And I think, look, we can tie in the content. Who is it? We can tie in the content. We could tie in local card shops opening up. We can tie in a lot of people in this industry. The truth is what are you doing that's different? Are you going to adapt and change, or are you going to stay stale? And if you stay stale, you're not going to make it, right? But I'll add this to my perspective. Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan stood by something, right? You have to be passionate. If you're really passionate about something, you'll go to the end of the earth to master your craft, right? And if I'm going to go to the end of the earth to master my craft, I want Mojo. I don't have to be the best. I'm going to do my best. I don't have to know everything, right? I can learn from you, right? I got to stay right size, right?
Yep.
That's the content I want to produce. I want it to be genuine. What you see is what you're going to get. And I think that's why we're successful.
The right
I know
size is
for a
learning.
fact.
That, I mean, because, you see some success, you see that stuff. And I think where a lot of people are going to get hurt, and it's great to hear you say this, right? I mean, you've had some crazy success, but where people kind of go awry is, people start reading their own clippings, right? It's like, well, I mean, look what I did.
Ridiculous.
I'm going to have a store here, and I'm going to open a place in California, and I'm going to open a museum. You know what I mean? I'm going to open,
People need to slow down, right? There's no rush, right?
Don't
You
take
know
a
that
shot
there's
at
20
that.
other card stores open. It's just. But I'm telling you guys produce content too. Adapt. Look, I'm gonna sum it up like this: you're gonna grow, or you gotta go.
Yeah, there is definitely that. I mean, I like a lot of what you're saying, and I'm not even going to get into the metaverse and the whole 9 yards because it's just an episode for another day. But I love the point that you're making, that it's my content allows someone who can't make the show to be at the show. Like, that is important, guys. If you go back and listen to that, it wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna go and flex, and I'm gonna show them my multi-million-dollar collection. I'm gonna walk in a show.
Nobody likes that shit. Like,
yeah,
it's so. Nobody, they want to hear that I lost money and what I learned from that experience. They don't want to hear that I triple X my money on some Kobe Bryant card. That's great, that's awesome, but that's all for your ego. That's not for your heart.
It doesn't happen every time, right? I think that the thing there is you can win, but you know what? Next show you might take a hit on something, and people do want to hear that it's real. And I think you gain followers, you gain people, who they like that, right? It's raw, it's honest, and otherwise, people who are watching you are going to go to the East Coast National next week or wherever they're going to go, and they're going to be like, wait a second, I walked in here with $100. How am I not leaving with 3,000? I mean, the guys on TV, the guys on YouTube, they do it all the time. Like, they took the $100 and turned it into $3,000. They just walk from one table to this is a $100 card. Okay, I'm going to sell it to your neighbor for $3,500. How? It's just, it doesn't happen. So it's good that you're doing that, and I like the idea. Look, North Dakota is a great example, right? Because I can't. What's in North Dakota, Andrew? I mean, we talked to Rick Probstein about Delaware. We got some good states here. I think Mount Rushmore might be there.
Idaho has some beautiful land. I can't remember, Coeur d'Alene or something like that. Beautiful land in Idaho.
Coeur d'Alene, yeah, that's where my aunt and uncle live.
Wow, that's incredible.
No, but I like it.
If you look up some places in Coeur d'Alene, it's incredible. I'm curious,
Beautiful,
so content creators, are you guys rivals? Are you guys friends? What's the relationship between other?
Well, which content creator? Are we talking about like Mama's Breaks, or are we talking about Sports Card Radio? Which one?
You would. All right, let me answer your question. All right, we'll leave it.
No, because
it's
interesting. I think of it as you guys are kind of like tennis players, right? It's a mutual respect. Sometimes you guys play doubles together, but mostly it's a single player game.
All right, let me tell you something. Any content creators, if you want to be successful, your competition is yourself. If you cannot focus on dude, you guys, anybody out there, card shops, listen to this. You are going to waste all your valuable energy focusing on someone else. They're living rent free in your head. I don't know about any other I know most content creators, we want to work together. Roth, Kenneth, Card Collector 2, we're characters that people all watch us. It's better for us to we work together. There's no competition there. And I know each of those people, their competition 100%, those names I mentioned, is themselves. Because when you start worrying about, another card shop's opening up 0.5 miles away and they're charging $40 cheaper for Topps Chrome Black, what are we doing?
Andrew, by the way, you see Andrew's face, Jay? That is the face of a man who lost $1,000 this week because he had a brilliant idea at National. He rented a steel cage, and he was going to have a steel cage match with all the influencers in it. It was going to be Card Collector 2 versus you. He was going to get in there with like Rick Probstein. Ken Golden was going to come in off the top turnbuckle. It was going to be nuts. And what you're
Oh
saying
my
now
God.
just
Jello
undercuts
wrestling,
the
like
whole
old school,
idea.
is kind
It's
of
all
what
right.
you
We
guys
could
should be
we could
pushing.
no,
Just
we could
kills
still
it.
have fun.
Now
But
he's
I'm
like, I got to return this cage now.
Hey, I'm telling you, man. That's just my mentality, man. Attitude and perception's everything in this life, business, relationships, everything. And I'm telling you right now, if you have a bad attitude, you're probably we're probably not hanging out.
Sometimes I wake up with a bad attitude. I got to tell you, I can't
Hey,
be,
we're
I
not
can't be
perfect.
rosy.
I'm not
every day.
perfect.
You know,
Yeah, I know. We're not supposed to be rosy, but I think there's priorities in this life, in this business. And if you have your priorities wrong, you're not going to make it. Like you gotta, what's pushing the passion and motivation? It should be you. If that card shop opens or that person hits 20,000 views, don't ask, oh, why did they get those views? Why did they get that better card shop? How can I do what I need to do to be the best I can be to get to that level?
but
Cards are interesting, man. Alex, here's why I think cards are interesting. I think there's no other asset. Maybe there are. I can't think off the top of my head. That's both like kind of like a good, like a toy, and also an investment class, right? And that's where it gets so murky because there are people, and there's probably an overlap like a Venn diagram, but like the people are like, I just want to buy cards for my kids, and they open their favorite players and they get excited, right? There's other people like, I just want to buy some really nice, like I want to buy the Luca, logo man for 4.5 million. That's like, I want this to be 10 million in 5 years, or I messed up. And there's probably some overlap, but like that's where it gets interesting. Mojo, I'm curious for you. Like you started, you're flipping, you're making money on, autographs, which is a hustle, man. You gotta be an extrovert, right? Like you talk to people all day long. Like,
Bro, I love people.
I love people too, but
give me another
I'm
20
an
minutes.
introvert.
I'll change your mind.
Fly me out to New York.
So you're hustling, you're making money on cards, right? Flipping, like the whole arbitrage thing. And now you're making money on your content. So where do you stand? Do you still buy cards to make money? Do you buy cards you love? It's a little bit of both.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I spread my revenue streams. Like, I mean, I'm talking openly here. Like, I don't have anything to hide. Like, I single card sales, advertising, YouTube advertising, sponsors. I mean, it's all the whole shebang. And I sell cards so I can keep cards. If I want to keep a nice Kobe, I'm gonna sell some cards so I know that that Jackie Robinson cut I have, it's gonna stay in the vault. So maybe I should sell a couple Lucas right now. If he's hot in the playoffs. Jason Tatum, for example, he went off last night. Sell a couple of his cards, got a little capital, kind of work from there. But it's balance, right? Which is easier said than done.
Nice Jackie cut sold in PWCC last night. Sold the record for a Jackie cut. A lot of money. So people might be looking for yours. You might have to take it out of the vault.
No, I can't. Special one.
Where'd you learn? You spent like a whole weekend with the Card Father. I mean, I'm sure you're gonna have a video, and I highly recommend follow YouTube Mojo Sports. But can you give the cliff notes? Can you kind of give like a 1, 2, 3? Maybe we're not as big as you, but we are growing, and I think we're the only ones that do what we do in the sense that we try to kind of be like the radio station for the hobby. Show up every single day, whether that's Cage and I talking about a variety of topics that are current. Not a week old, or having guests from people they could learn from, whether it's Probstein, Ken Golden, content creators, card collector. I mean, we've had just about everyone on at this point. Can you give people that are listening maybe a little bit of value, or the 3 things you learned from the Card Father?
Yeah, I mean, Card Father he's ahead of his time, man. I mean, he's a guy that's grit and grind. Like I think that's why he and we hit it off like no other, because he's got such a similar mentality in terms of growth. He doesn't settle for anything. And I think that's important, right? You shouldn't settle for anything. I mean, for him, the guy always is learning, right? He remains teachable. That's one of my biggest tools. I remain teachable. And I think another thing is he has systems in place that work, and he tests them out, and he does something different, tests them out and does something different. But also the 4th thing, he doesn't worry about what other card shops are doing. He is focused on what he needs to do to be successful. What systems does he need to change? And I mean, I'll give you guys you guys are running your podcast, like you guys are consistent, right? I think that's amazing. You know how hard it is to be consistent. There's days when I was editing a video 2 hours ago out there, and I'm like, dude, this isn't gonna get done today. There's too much content with Card Father. I'm gonna have to hold off. And I kind of wanted to be like, man, like, I'm just joking here. I was like, should I cancel the podcast? But then I was like, you know what? No, I'm joking. But it's like, shoot, man, I gotta realize. True.
because that
like,
really comes up and you have to prioritize. So like it is
Yeah,
a joke,
so
but
it's
it's
like-
real.
yeah,
It's
no,
one way to
it's
stick out in
real.
my brain. So we've had
Yeah.
you can count on our fingers how many people have canceled on us. So
Yeah, no,
it's a
so
good
it
way to stick
happens,
out.
right?
Not in a good
so
way.
like I want
I
to
hold
get stuff
grudges.
done. I want to get tasks done, right? And it's like sometimes it's not going to get done. Yesterday's Card Father video I edited in an hour, and like I'm happy because it's like, dude, that video is like doing pretty well, and it's like, damn, like I went to Venice Beach and edited that video, like walked down the street and just was like, fuck it, I can work from anywhere. So I mean, it pays off. I'm sure you guys feel well. Feel
I can
really
tell
good when
you,
get
the
good
Venice
content.
Beach story popped up. I saw Venice Beach. I saw the ocean. I saw Venice Beach. I was waiting for you, like working out, like Muscle Beach style. I was waiting for I was waiting for the little curls to happen. I didn't see it. It wasn't on the story. I was
I was going to do the Michael Phelps dive into the
That's
ocean,
it.
but I
Dive in,
didn't have a
take a little
cameraman,
fishing.
so I didn't.
My favorite piece that came out was a quick one where you're at the fast food place and the guy behind the counter is, why do people keep coming in here with little suitcases?
Oh my god, dude! That guy, dude, that's across the street from Burbank. Dude,
Yep.
I wish I had the camera because before I recorded that, he's like, the little suitcases, they keep coming in.
It was really funny because here's a guy who doesn't understand what's going on, and he's just
What
serving
the
burgers,
fuck's going
serving
on?
fast food, and because he's right across the street from Burbank, everyone who comes in to order food has a card case. So it's just funny
Yeah.
because it wasn't intended to be funny. You weren't, but it just, of course, the way it hits.
It still blows my
It's
mind
so
that like 15, 16-year-olds walk around with like these little card cases that weigh like almost as much as they do, and it's like 6 figures, 7 figures in there. Sometimes
unbelievable.
8.
Unbelievable,
ridiculous.
bro. I see some LeBron Jordan cards I used to own that I spent under $1,000 for, and people are selling them on Golden and Alt for 20, 30, 40K.
Don't look
They
back.
don't have. Cage, have
I
you
know,
been looking
but-
back the last week? Be honest with me.
Have I been looking back?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Wait, let me ask you about the question. What's
Oh,
the
man.
biggest card you regret selling?
Mine's an NFT.
Is it?
All the run-ups pale in comparison to NFTs. So like cards are like, man, I missed out on like a few thousand, and NFTs are like, man, I missed out on like 600K.
Wow.
Selling
NFTs are
Cage,
stupid
what's
crazy.
what's the card you regret selling? You gotta have one.
I'll give 2 just because it's hot this week because of wrestling, because the WWE Prism came out. So I forget if it was 2018, maybe 2019. I think 2018. I bought 2 cards the same night, 2 wrestling cards the same night in a PWCC auction. I bought an Andre the Giant 1973 wrestling magazine, PSA 10, and the 1982 Wrestling All-Star Ric Flair PSA 10.
Oh shit.
And I noticed last night a Flair PSA 8 sold for less than what I paid for both of those cards combined.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So
Isn't that crazy?
and I sold them, and I regret for what I sold them for, but you never know what that money went into. I was always selling and putting the money right back into cards, so I wasn't missing any of the run up on it. And I'm also happy to say that I sold the Andre the Giant to Jeremy Padower, and I sold the Ric Flair to Gary V, both of whom own the cards still. So I know where my cards are, you know what I mean? And I obviously did well compared to what I paid for them because they had run up, but nowhere near the run up that has happened since I sold them. The interesting part is I don't know what either of them would sell for now because there are so few of them that there hasn't been a sale on either since I bought mine. I can only imagine what they would sell for now. Yeah. So there's those 2,
Yeah.
just wrestling because wrestling's hot this week.
Yeah, it is.
There's like I call them the pizza and porn crowd of the hobby. The people that don't
The
really
who?
have much. The pizza and porn crowd of the
What,
hobby.
like porn? PORN?
Yeah, they just
First time I'm
they
hearing
just
this
sit.
too.
What's
Yeah,
porn?
they just. I don't know. Who knows?
What is it?
But look,
Just go with it.
Wait, what's porn? Tell me.
It's entertainment in a sexual manner. So now, there's people that sit at home all day and they just spew negativity. I'm curious.
Okay.
You're a content creator. You 20,000 views. You're big on Instagram. All that stuff. You ever get caught up in it? Like people that are just hating hating for hating's sake.
All right, I'll give you an example. Nat Turner, you're gonna love this. So Nat Turner and I do he agreed to be on my podcast. It was like everyone called it my Oprah interview, whatever. It was cool because I was just getting started, and I had done a podcast. It's just a lot of work. But anyway, long story short, some guy commented, he's like, it was a great podcast, but it was in your bedroom, which is weird. And then I replied, and this is how I knew how to deal with negativity, because I knew I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have to fucking deal with this the rest of my life if I'm putting my ugly mug on YouTube. So I better be ready for this shit. So I replied, my mom's basement wasn't available. Sorry. Like, who cares? Anybody that says anything negative, they can call me fat. They could say, you know, this. They can say, you know, I'm Middle Eastern. They call it terrorist. You know what, dude? I can flip it back on them. And guess what? Who's the jackass?
I mean, I see the Cam Newton move too. I haven't seen that in about a year.
Had to.
That's what I was.
But you know what I mean? Anybody that listen, I'm gonna say it. Anybody that's hating and negative, put a glass mirror right up to their face and say, "I'm sorry, you're so afraid. I'm sorry, this is the way you're feeling." Because that's what it is. Why do people hate? They hate because they feel like shit about themselves.
I love this content, and Andrew has to love it more because we get some venom, but it's never directed at me. I mean, I'm thin. People do tell me that I need to talk faster. They say I'm a little slow. In my delivery, so I need to speed up my speech a little bit. Andrew has been called a slob. I try to work that into episodes whenever I can. Like, people said Andrew's a slob. It's one of my favorite words ever.
You should put like ketchup on your face next time, and like something like, make sure they know that you're the slob. So then they're like, what are they gonna say? Wow, you look like more of a slob.
So would it be like me if I didn't press? So the people that the people that have nothing to lose and are hiding, they don't bother me. But what about people who are sort of like supposed to be the guiding light of the hobby?
Like reputable people.
Reputable people throw in hate and shade.
I mean, what are you going to do, right? I mean, I'm sorry you're using your energy to hate. I'm going to go ahead and keep making content and keep doing what I need to do to be successful. I don't have time for that shit. You guys can't waste your energy on that shit. How am I going to edit Burbank's video if I'm worried about some Joe Schmo or even a reputable account saying, Mojo is not doing a great job. Mojo should be doing this. He should lose this. He should do it a different way. You know what, dude? The way I'm doing is the best I can. And I'm doing the best I can with what I got. So if you got something else to say, if it's actually constructive, I'll take it. If it's not, you got to go.
So in Andrew's mind right now, just the audience who might not be looking at this on YouTube, he has this idea called the hobby brawl. And he just thinks it would all be fine if we just kind of got into a big fight, like a big melee, and everybody just kind of beat each other up, and then we can move past it all. What would you think of that? Did that kind of work? Because this is the actual idea.
What's shocking is you're kicking a dog when they're down. I just drove 20 hours basically straight. I'm kind of in a daze, and it's relentless attacks, which is amazing because we recorded an episode right before this, and he was also throwing me off. Sorry,
Look. This is look. What I'm sharing is very healthy for the hobby.
Yes,
because I think this will help a lot of people that are down on themselves. You know, Andrew or anybody out there that's down on themselves to get, oh, they said this or they're not agreeing with what I'm doing. Well, guess what? For the last 10 plus years, people said that this wasn't supposed to be a thing. This can't be a career. You can't do cards. You can't do content. You can never be a YouTuber. Blah, blah, blah. And you know what, dude? Guess what I did? Head down.
You're a slob.
Moving forward. I'm a fucking slob.
You're a slob. You put your hoodie on. You're a slob. I'm a slob. I can't do this anymore. There are 2 slobs here with me. You got the hoodies on. Slob 1, slob 2. We're finished. We're done. Hit the end button.
Do you have any PSA 9 Marvin Bagley's available?
Well, listen, my wife has a good saying. I'll probably butcher it, but it'll cap what you're saying. It's, there are people out there who focus on their own life, their own work, and what they're doing. And there are other folks out there who think that they can make their light shine brighter by blowing your candle out. That's not the way to do it. You know what I mean? Just focus on your own shit.
Focus on your own shit. You will not make it in the industry, in any industry, even if you're not in cards. Hear me out. You are not going to make it if you're too worried about what other people think. Especially if you're putting content out there. If you can't handle the people coming at you, you're not going to make it.
You're a true Kings fan, right? True Sacramento fan?
100%. Yeah, I am.
I mean, listen, you got a great future with Halliburton there.
He's gone.
Oh, wait.
I'm out. I'm grabbing a water, dude. That's just... I swear, you did not just wait. You knew you
Of
were
course
saying
I
that,
knew.
right?
Of course
Oh
I
my
knew
God.
he was gone.
Dude,
What
I
was
was-
what
I
was
like
your
Howie.
fir-
That was
what
miserable
was
that they got
your
rid of him.
impression of LA and if LA believes and loves LeBron?
Dude, I mean, most people are pissed at Westbrook. So Westbrook's like the guy that's taking the fall.
Scapegoat.
He is the
Westbrook's
scapegoat. He's not that. I mean, Westbrook played like crap, but like Westbrook's the reason that like
That's the theme, and LeBron's back, and they're gonna. You think they're thinking that they're gonna win a championship next year?
Coach is
With him and
gone.
AD?
Le GM,
Le
remember
GM.
that, Le GM.
That's it.
Pelinka
They
is
should-
respected,
if
man.
they would have had DeRozan and Buddy Hield, they would have been great.
Yeah, Pelinka's not going anywhere. He's got his roots that are
Yeah, I mean,
pretty.
he's pretty deep rooted.
Yeah. What are you collecting these days? What do you PC? What are you buying for with some vision of like a flip? If you don't mind sharing, I don't mean to put you on blast.
I'm sorry, man. This is just private information. I'm still thinking of
You
drink.
can't share that.
Kobe
can't share
Auto,
that.
right? I think you
Fuck
showed a
that.
Kobe Auto.
Sorry,
I'm just joking.
The 30,000 of you that watch my videos, it shows you just
I'm
get
sorry,
what I want
guys.
you to see. I don't
so-
actually
I'm
want to
so-
share. What's
No,
what's
I
really
don't
going on.
I don't give a shit. I tell everybody what I'm doing and how much I'm paying most of the time. Like what is it? Like there's no cookie cutter way to collect. This is just my I've been putting my personality into collecting. Like okay, so I bought this Kobe in LA. This is kind of cool. Clear commemoratives.
Nice auto.
Pretty cool.
Too.
Yeah, it's nice. I buy the goats. I collect DeMarcus Cousins, so I buy him when I can. Aaron Rodgers is one of my favorite players. It's pretty much that in Sacramento Kings, but like I'm taking a steep like hiatus from buying their cards.
Boogie, how did that start? Because I'm not a big Boogie guy. I think his attitude was terrible, and here you are spending 36 minutes talking about how attitude matters. And Boogie was maybe the most talented big man I've seen in a long time. Passing, his build, his athleticism. How did that start? And do you think, are you a little bit upset about his career trajectory?
I mean, dude, DeMarcus Cousins I watched DeMarcus Cousins grow up in the NBA. He watched me grow up in life. I've known him since he was a rookie. Like, I know the things that people don't, you can see that on the court, but off the court, like, he's very, like, down to earth. Like, he's an amazing person. And he did a lot for each community and the teams he played for. So, in my opinion, like, he's very misunderstood. Yes, on the court, but, on the court, he's grown up a lot. I know he got ejected in game 1, but game 2, he's going to come out strong tonight, all right? But all I can tell you is I have so much respect and love for DeMarcus Cousins. I still talk to him, and he's just the guy, man. He was like my love for collecting when I first started, and that was the guy that I started collecting, and I keep doing it. So there's that. In terms of the trajectory of his career, dude, I mean, bro, it's unfortunate, but like he's adjusting, right? Through adversity, he's still in the league.
Achilles, I think AC. Yeah.
He's still in the league, though. I mean, he got a full contract with the Nuggets. He's going to be playing in playoffs. Like, through everything, he's, the grind didn't stop. The marathon continues. That's what he stands by. That's like a Nipsey Hussle thing. But through adversity, he's been able to stay in the league, and I think that's pretty impressive,
So what's next for the Mojo brand? You taking this, cross country? Do you just kind of, spend half your time at home? Sometimes you travel. What are you thinking is kind of next? Because, dude, I saw a ton of RVs on my drive. I think going cross country, hobby rescue, going hobby shop to hobby shop, with a cameraman, doing it could be fun. It could be really fun.
Dude, I'm telling you, that summer is going to be good. I want to do like the RV thing. My boy Troy Reich, T Reich with 415, he was talking about we should all rent a house and like call it like have like this thing that's like the slab house. My boy John mentioned it too. Can you imagine putting all these card people together in like one house?
That's how the Nelk Boys and FaZe Banks and all those guys blew up. I'm just saying, judge it one way or the other. I don't care. But that's how a lot of the people that you
I don't
see.
know. I'm not saying we're going to do it, but I'm just throwing it out there.
Andrew's idea was Hobby House. He called it Hobby House.
That was national.
Lit. Will you guys pay for it?
Sure.
Like we
Of course,
sponsor.
Andrew's rolling it. Pay for it. It's gonna be a tiny house. It's gonna be one of those like 2 foot by like 10 foot, like in Idaho.
No,
No
but
chance.
I mean, dude, I just want to continue to grow the brand, bring out good content, travel to some more shows, do the deal. I mean, There's some adjustments along the way, but the number one question I get asked, and we talked about this, will I ever open a card shop? And the answer is no right now. Maybe down in the future, but it just doesn't make sense right now.
A card shop on wheels, like an ice cream truck, but with packs inside.
Anything
what I
with a
thought about?
truck,
A good idea.
he presents
You're in
a
New York,
truck
right?
to everybody because he wants to have like a couple square feet in the truck to like he can peddle gummies and edibles out of the back of the truck while you're selling cards to people. He's got this whole plan. He's trying to find somebody who will give him space in a truck.
We play like cool music as we drive through New York,
That's it.
and like we just start offering discount slabs, and like in the nighttime we have a little flashlight playing, and it's just like these are the deals for today.
Today's deals.
Hey, I actually do have an idea for you. I thought about this, and maybe I'll do it when I'm in New York. I'm coming to New York in like 2 weeks, but
Nice.
I want to sell cheap slabs on the subway.
You might get stabbed on the subway. You can call it stabbed and slammed. Perfect. I mean, it's great content.
Is your city's going to shit, Cage?
Oh my God!
Is it
what
that
happens?
bad?
You don't support the police. I mean, it's not that people get stabbed and shot every day, everywhere. I guess I mean, it is what it is.
You're a ringing endorsement this Monday afternoon.
Is this happening that often?
Well, last week, one of the teammates, who works with us, texted me and was like, "Hey, were you going to the city today? You were involved in that, right?" It was, like 5 or 6 people shot in the subway, 5 killed. I think more people shot in the subway last week. It was literally last week. I mean,
have you ridden that subway?
Of course.
Oh my God!
I've ridden almost every subway. I've lived in almost every borough.
For the first time. I rode a subway for the first time when I went to Bleecker over here. Bleecker, the hat. I never rode a subway in my life.
How was that experience? How was the show?
What, Bleecker?
Yeah.
I mean, I hosted the trade night. It was amazing. Shout out to Mark Zabala, bro. That guy's the GOAT. I love that guy. And I love their shop. I think it's cool. It's a cool hangout spot. I just love the environment, man. And Mark and Jacob and Jess and all those guys, Andrew, all those guys over there, they're amazing.
Stabbed and slabbed. You heard it here, folks. He's gonna do it. He's perfect. Hopefully, you're not the one getting the stab. I think it's a great idea.
I'm not selling slabs on the subway now. You scared me.
Nah, listen. It is.
I'm gonna sell them on the street corner. It's fine. It'll be better.
Depends what corner. I mean, if you go into Times Square, you'll find people dressed up like superheroes and stuff. There's a 5'3" muscle guy who dresses like Hulk. There's a 5'3" Hulk. It's pretty.
Sounds
impressive.
like Hollywood over here.
Yeah, it's the same. There's an Elmo who's filthy. I mean, I wouldn't let my kids take a picture within 20 feet of them. Yeah, there's just like all kinds of fun characters out there. It's a good time. The city is fun, man. New York City is a good time. Zappos got a nice place, though. I'll give him that. Zappos he created a nice little place over there.
I think they got the corner unit now, right? Cage that they're building out?
I don't think so.
Yeah. Check the stories.
All right.
That's
the ones Whalebone?
That spot's fun. That's a social hangout.
That's pretty
man.
cool.
I like that spot.
That was the last time I saw it. That was the place that had all the bananas that I was telling you about. Remember the banana hat? It's called Whalebone. But if they got that place, that's pretty cool because it's a pretty well-traveled corner.
This is for a Whatnot show.
There you go. He wears it. He makes his banana play.
Yeah, I give out underdog plays during the NFL season. I didn't do too good. I think I did
Detroit. It was Detroit.
1 in 15.
One of them.
I just did Lions every game.
Yeah, it was like the Lions are winning today.
Bet against the Lions.
The Lions money line. Lions will win today. That's my bananas play of the day. That's good stuff. No, but so how about breaks? You like breaks? You into breaks? Breaks expanding? What's your story on that? So no LCS?
Bro,
yeah.
I tried breaks for 2 weeks, and I had my boy M Chief Sports Card. Shout out to him. He's breaking for the Road Show now, Kentucky Road Show. But we tried breaks for 2 weeks, and I just am not into it, man. I'll break when I have I'll break like once every month, if that. But it's not my thing, man.
Listen, it's not for everybody. It doesn't really jive specifically with what we do. We want. So I broke on Whatnot this past week. I broke a box of OTE Chrome, the Overtime Elite Chrome. And I basically tell people right then and there, this is how much I paid for it. This is how many packs are in this. This is how much you should be paying. Do not pay way more than that. I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to double my money on this. I wound up losing money. On this one, though, it was a good box because I broke it up into like 6 3-pack lots. And the first 3-pack lot had, one of the really good guys numbered out of 299. Then the next 3-pack lot had like one of the autos. Then there was a cool numbered out of 99. Then there was another like out of 50. Then it was out of 25. And then the auto out of 99. So everybody who bought in did better than what they paid. That's a very rare thing. Like,
That's
like
super rare.
perfection. You know what I mean? Like everybody who got it. And that's kind of, we try to, Andrew's always saying the word value. We're trying to provide value for our people. And it's tough because our people, we know if we did breaks, our people will jump into the breaks. And you already know right off the bat, it's almost impossible to do what we did this past week where everybody who's getting it is getting value for it. You know what I mean? Yeah, they're having some fun. They're watching a break. It's a little bit of gambling. But it's very rare when, everybody at the blackjack table leaves a winner. So I'm with you on the breaks. It's interesting.
Mojo, who's doing it right? Your brand aside, who's doing it right that you'd want to give a shout out that they're doing? I kind of like their style. I kind of like
I got one right off the bat.
Like rappers, hip hop artists. They give props to the up and comer.
Oh, this is an up and comer. Card Collector 2. That's my guy. I think he's doing it great because very smart. Takes the time with the kids. He's got a huge following, but you see him always with the kids. So what he's building is not just now. Those kids are going to be fans of him in 10, 20 years when they actually have disposable income. That's going to be the guy that they looked at, now. And so he's young. If he really wants to stay in this, and it looks like he does, he's got a brick and mortar and a whole deal. If he wants to stay in this for a long time, he's building a foundation where he could be like Mitch. He could be like the Godfather over at the fraternity. You know what I mean? Like, he's setting it up. You know what I'm talking about, right?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's my guy. I think he's doing it the right way.
You didn't really go out on the limb. You basically the biggest account in the hobby.
Because of what he's doing. I don't think many people do this right. Right now, I got Mojo in my list. He's doing it right.
Mojo, anyone? Was yours Card Collector 2? Are we all just Card Collector 2 fanboys now? I'm just a Card Collector 2 simp now.
Yeah, me too.
Care.
No, I mean, dude, Card Collector 2, he's amazing, bro. Like you said, he's passing the torch to the next generation. That's important. Jimmy from the Kentucky Road Show, I love what that guy does. He's an unbelievable human being, and he will help anybody. And I'm adding Rob from Burbank Sports Cards because I'm telling you, when these videos release, a lot of card shops are going to learn a lot from this guy.
I mean, Kentucky Roadshow, he was smart. A lot of people make investments in themselves. I bought myself a used iPhone 8 for the podcast. It was a great investment. He spent a lot of money just permanently attached a smile to his face. I don't know how much that costs, but that dude, he's just like, he's like, I've seen him a million times. It's always the same huge smile. So good for him. He's loving his life, right?
Card Jesus, man.
Yeah. He's big smile. You want some little guys? There's a little guys. You know who I like? Little guy. How about Slab Shelf John? Right?
John's amazing. He's a nice dude.
There's a little guy. I had him on when we were doing, come up with Cage. It was just an idea. It's tough to do one episode a day, let alone trying to do like more than that and all the other stuff. And Andrew has to edit all of it for me. Let me just make 4 shows a day and have Andrew edit every bit of it. But so we had him on just kind of talk. He's a perfect example of, like, do what you're doing. Like, I'm sure a million people would say to him stuff like, hey, how are you going to compete with this, and this? And he would be like, no, I'm doing my thing. Like, I'm not making a big, I'm making this little one. It's more for, kids. It's more for easy. It's more, you can hang it up if you want. You can have a display. It's a smaller thing. Like, he knows what he's doing. He focuses on that, and he does that as best as he can. And I think he's doing fine. Nice guy, too. So
very nice guy.
So something that I think unites us all, and I want to ask you, I hope you don't mind. So I think we all have addictive personalities in one way or another. Like, I know for me, my vice is gambling. Like, once I start gambling, it's really hard to get off that road. And it's something I've overeating. Yes. Dude, we all have these addictions. And I think we are addictive personality, how much we love sports cards. Mine's gambling is something I work on. But dude, one of my favorite posts that you made was that little gold coin that you posted, right?
Yeah.
And your sobriety. And I respect those posts infinitely more. One, because it's so vulnerable, right? A lot of people, you don't want to maybe open up that side of yourself to the hobby for scrutiny later on. Can you share anything on that or some things? Because I don't know, I think it could help a few people.
Yeah, man. So my thing was alcohol. I've been sober 4 years. August 5th of 2017. That's my date, and I'm gonna keep it, right? That was my thing, man. Alcohol. I got sober at 23. I'm 27 now, so it's been 4 years. That was my thing, man. I coped with it, and it was crazy because I was doing the hobby while I was coping with it. But what I can tell you is, anybody out there that's struggling with something like that, you're never alone, right? You're never alone, right? The way I see it is, when I was going through it, it was something that I was using to change the way I feel because I didn't like the way I felt sober. And that's why I see a lot of people smoke weed, they drink, all those things. I don't do any of them. I don't smoke weed, I don't drink, I don't do vapes. I love coffee and caffeine, but I mean, we all have, like you said, we have lust, we have greed, all this stuff, man. All of us have a little vice. But for me, staying sober is my thing, man. Every day, it's just one day at a time. And, I've been sober 4 years, and I've actually met a lot of people along the way that are also sober as well. And I've been able to hang out with them. Actually, this past two days ago, I met some guy at Burbank, and then we ended up meeting, and he's like, bro, I've been sober 14 years, man. And I saw your post, and then we hit it off, and like he and I hung out on the day after, and he was just a guy from the community, just so random how it happened. So anybody out there, just realize you're never alone. If I can stay sober, so can you. If you have that problem, just hit me up.
100%, man. And I bring that up for a few reasons, because I've seen it more and more, and our hobby's 95% male. Males struggle with addiction, as is more. And then there's the whole thing of we have addictive personalities. It's the gambling. It's all that. So I appreciate you sharing. I hope it was okay to put you on the spot like that. Luca Nation, Mojo Cards, Jay, awesome dude. Where should they follow you? If they don't,
Yo,
they
you guys,
do.
follow me on Instagram, Mojo Autographs. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Mojo Sports. And, we just hit 20K, so we really appreciate that. And, yeah, hit us up.
Progress, not perfection, guys.
You already know.
And if you see Mojo at the show, if you see Jay at the show, go up, say what's up, say hi. He's an awesome dude. We met really briefly at Culture Collision, and I can vouch for that. We love you, Luca Nation.